at once for a moment. I was a Chinese waiter.
I can't go to population. I'm in really bad standing with my ex gang.
And I do know that tattoos and felonies and records, or a lot of people think, affect the job search.
You know, now we're looking at a lot of tattoo removal. And I train every day. I train for war.
Or I don't just want to be this guy that's tattooed, you know. If I was anybody else in the entire world, I would be free.
You know, like gang stuff.
They said that I'm violent and that
I don't have any drug charges, any DUIs, nothing.
I've recently met a woman that's very important to me in my life, and navigating a healthy relationship is difficult.
I just got caught up in the moment with my ex-girlfriend.
It did lead me to commit a couple of things that I wouldn't normally do.
I mean, it's bad enough that somebody lost their life.
Worked at a Chinese restaurant. I worked at Little Caesars. Then I did security. And then I ended with just doing security.
Is a mistake I will never make again in life.
For me, I'm really not safe in Utah anymore.
These violent things are happening, and I have no choice but to prepare myself.
And I told them if they put me back in the section that I would eat some razors.
My new victim, the stalking charge. I'm okay not contacting her. I don't want anything to do with her. She just doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not going to talk to her.
I only struck one time. You know, I've never pulled a knife on anybody in my whole life, and that's the honest to God truth.
and be open space. There was an officer, he thought it was funny to keep making little jokes.
I can't talk to anybody related to my victim. So that includes my brother and sister.
You know, I hate to be a blubbering idiot here, but I'm just done.
What you just saw are a few snapshots from parole hearings out of the state of Utah. If you want to see the full hearings, including my unpacking, which includes the details of their crimes, the results of the parole hearing, and then following them as they parole to see if they rescind, make sure to click the link below.
And I do have money. One thing is, though, I won't have time to do any classes on parole.
For the past, since we've been in this prison, like my best friend, I was close to him, and he's helped me out with the gang issue. None of this shit happened. None of the victim stuff happened until he left. But also when he left, all my write-ups stopped. But I had to have his back. That's just, I don't have friends in prison. I don't get close to people in prison. I don't do none of that. Even now, all I do is watch TV, and I come out, use a phone shower, and go back. I'm in single cell rec. I asked to be here.
We are about to watch the parole hearing of a Utah man who should have been released 2 years ago for the initial felony that he's in for 5 years for possession of a stolen vehicle. But he picked up another 5 years for assault by prisoner. And that's what this parole hearing is about. I'll unpack it with the details and the results of the hearing at the end.
Let's go over your current committing offense in case 221904778, where you were convicted of a third-degree felony assault by prisoner. This one occurred around March 29th, 2022, where it looks like you and another individual, after somebody had come back from an incident, came from underneath the stairs and started assaulting this individual who just come back to the unit. Officers state that you guys had refused revocable commands to stop fighting, and officers fired VKSs, a super sock beanbag round through the port. You walked away toward the showers while the other two continued to fight. And it looks like that was the extent of your involvement, and everybody was treated for minor cuts and abrasions. Does that seem accurate, sir?
Yes.
Can you tell me what was going on, what the fight was for?
Well, it was the guy that we assaulted. He was starving us. I had knew him from a previous prison stay, and I came back this time, and I was just fresh out of R&O, and my mentality, I didn't know if I knew how to handle it, and that was the only way at that time that I knew how to handle it. I was being starved. He wasn't feeding me my trays, and it had been a while.
Was he in charge of
Yes.
food distribution then, basically?
Yes.
Was it in any way gang related?
No, I have not been active since 2017.
Okay. Since your last hearing, you've had a lot of disciplinary violations. So I'm going to go over those really quick because the board is going to want to know about those disciplinaries and kind of what's going on. Okay. So you have one from March 9th, 2022 for the assault, refuse, order, resist, arrest. I'm guessing that was for your charges, correct? And then you had a July 7th, 22 threats horseplay. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
We were all, we had drank that day and we're just getting rowdy,
Okay. Was it fighting or horseplaying?
horseplay.
And then you have one for August 3rd, 2022, where you have refuse, order, resist, arrest, movement. Do you remember that one?
Don't.
Okay. So on this one, it just states while performing assignments, duties on Antelope, he instructed 3 inmates to return to their assigned cells. They refused and one became belligerent. IMS was activated, less than lethal force was used. Certify or performed an extraction. 1 inmate was moved to different housing. Notifications were made. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was my cellie. He was having mental health problems and they weren't giving him, they took him off his meds and he just went crazy. And that was my cellie. Me and my neighbor ended up racking in
Okay.
and CERT did whatever they did with him and I still got the write up.
And I don't see, like, it just says somebody was extracted. It doesn't tell me who. So that's why I'm asking also for this information, because a lot of the times I get more information from you guys. This one was a search of a cell, brew was found, the brew was taken and disposed of properly. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It's fits in a common area and they charge us both. I don't remember specifically, but I remember my old cellie I got close with him and he's been in trouble a lot. And the way I am is I had his back through everything and I had a lot of write-ups. And if you look at the time since he's been in the hole, I haven't had no write-ups, I don't think. Maybe 1 or 2.
How long has he been in the hole?
Since March, I think.
Okay, because I don't have information on who your cellies are either.
Yeah, been since March.
And then December 2022, you had unauthorized possession of property. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
the speaker.
Okay. What were the loose pills that were found?
They were Tylenol, and the med tech told the cops that they found Tylenol in my house. I don't know what else, but I know that the stuff that was on my bed, the med tech told the cops that it was Tylenol.
Okay. And then May of 2023, you had some abuse, unauthorized possession, use of property, refuse, resist, arrest, movement, do, or command. Do you remember this one?
No.
While conducting a cell search, homemade alcohol was found, contraband was confiscated, documented properly, disposed of, inmates will be charged. Proper notifications were made. Do you remember that at all? And then June of 2023, fighting assault, unauthorized possession, use of property. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
that's when I had somebody else's TV. I think I was fighting. I think it might have been my cellie.
And then June 2023 on the 26th, tampering with any lock security device. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
they came and raided me for some reason, and they found a speaker, and it was like somebody had used it for cutting something in the past. And I had got it and they had seen that and they had charged me for the write-ups. One of us takes the charges and we just take all the charges for the write-ups.
Do you guys just alternate that then?
Yeah.
Like whoever's turn it is to take the write-ups? Kind of, okay. And then April 5th, you had fighting assault. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I was being stabbed. I was
Okay.
the victim. They had rolled me up for me engaging instead of racking in right away.
Do you know what the reasoning was for they stabbing you?
I'm a dropout. It was
Oh, okay.
active Sereno and he wasn't supposed to live around me.
Okay, so you have safeties on you from that, from them. Okay. And then a couple days later, substance abuse.
Yeah, that's the pen. It was I was hiding my tattoo ink in a black pen because they don't really ever find those. So there was just there's just a bunch of ink in the black pen, and I don't know what he thought it was, but
Okay. Have you been able to do any programming at all?
I got those certificates from Interplay, plumbing, electrician.
So you have access to tablets,
Right now, no.
but before you did?
Mm.
Okay. How long have you not had access to tablets?
Like maybe 2 months.
Okay. So you've been able to do some stuff?
Yeah, and I've been on there. I've done a lot. MRT, they said I have to have a date or contingent, or
Oh, okay.
I've reached out to Odyssey House, and they're supposed to be doing groups, but they said they were supposed to start like a month ago, start these groups, and they was gonna let me in on those to help with the hearing, but they haven't started it yet, I guess.
Sir, if there's restitution owing in any of your cases, are you willing to pay that?
Yes.
I know there's clearly concerns about any type of retaliation as far as gang stuff goes in the prison, because it sounds like it's already starting or has happened. Is there any concerns about that if you are paroled? What got you out of the gang?
Just wasn't it wasn't for me.
How long were you in it?
4 years.
Did you join here? Okay. Did you join in the community? After Odyssey House, where do you plan on going?
Full of
With,
family. I got a wife and kid.
okay. What do you feel like for you overall has changed so that you hopefully don't come back here?
A lot. That in April, I got stabbed, and I was the victim. If you look at my history, the whole 10 years I've done in prison, not one time have I been the victim. I knew what was coming, and I took my time to think about the consequences and what will happen if I go about it a different way. And I'm still in prison. I still got to live here, so the people still got to look at me a certain way. I've gone over that too. That was just my thinking at that time, just a couple months ago. But my thinking then was, I still got to live here, so I can't tell the cops anything. But I also didn't do what is appropriate in prison. I was the victim, and then a few days later, I was the victim again of it. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
You said you were a victim again a few days after the initial one.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
I don't know what rumor they were starting, but they got in my celly's head, and this is prison, so people don't want to live with the snitch or with certain individuals, and I don't know what they told my celly, but I was in splints because I just got stabbed, and then this hand and all this stuff was broken, and he just told me that I had to leave, and if you tell the cops you can't live somewhere, then you're looked at a certain way. So again, I couldn't do that, and he just yeah, made me the victim again.
Physically or?
Yeah.
Or is there anything else you'd like the board to know at this point or feel like the board needs to know?
Yeah, I have had a lot of write-ups, and I know it has said I take responsibility for all of them. If you look at them, I pled guilty. I might not remember all because it is quite a bit of them, but I pled guilty. I did the PI time. I did my time for them, and like I said, that would the dude who I lived with for the past since we've been in this prison, like my best friend. I was close to him, and he's helped me out with the gang issue. None of this shit happened. None of the victim stuff happened until he left. But also when he left, all my write-ups stopped. But I had to have his back. That's just I don't have friends in prison. I don't get close to people in prison. I don't do none of that. Even now, all I do is watch TV and I come out, use a phone shower, and go back. I'm in single cell rec. I asked to be here. There's really no programming that really that I can do, but I have reached out to get my shit together out there. I don't I feel like I need help from people that have been here and done this and are trying to legit get over it and have stuff to do it for. They're not just doing it for you guys or for parole or whatever. Just I know if I probably asked for chances after chances, and I've gotten them. I have gotten them, but this time I've taken the steps to do something. Um, I just ask that you guys look at the whole picture and not just the write-ups. Um, I feel like I'm ready to do something. Right now, I'm just wasting away pretty much on this single cell rec. I can move to the open sections or whatever, but it's just too much drama and too much risk. If anything, I'd rather just sit where I'm at and wait till I get out. I'm trying to keep my mind right. I have done those interplay things. I try to do some more aerospace dynamics, but it's just above my grade level. I can't figure that shit out. But
Okay.
I have been productive, and I will continue to be.
Okay. What I plan on doing, sir, is taking the information we discussed today, compiling that into a report and submitting that to the board.
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think they granted? And the short answer is they did grant. Now, they granted that he will get paroled on 7/22/2025. So that was like, I guess like 9. Now, his full term date was 3/9/2027. So he's still getting out like a good, roughly 2 years early. I have to apologize about the quality of this recording. I know that it blocked in and out and it jumped around, and that's what sometimes happens when you're recording these streams. Sometimes you just don't get a good connection, and I do apologize for that. I tried to fix it as best I could. There's not much else that I can unpack here outside of the fact that he initially got locked up and received a 5-year sentence for receiving or transferring of a stolen vehicle. He also got 0 to 5 years for failure to stop at the command of a police officer, and 1 year or 0 to 1 years for possession or use of a controlled substance. But his EOS for that was 6/4/2022. The reason that he's still only locked up in prison is because of an assault by prisoner felony that he picked up while in prison. And we see this stuff just all the time in Utah. Utah seems to be the most dangerous prison that we cover, and we cover in Connecticut, we cover Iowa, we cover Illinois, we cover in Louisiana and Angola that has an infamous reputation, but it's we don't see anything like this in Angola. Now, is it a data thing? Is it possible that because Louisiana is so strict, Louisiana now you can't even get a parole hearing if you have one write-up within 3 years? It used to be 1 year. Before that, it was just like discretionary up to the parole board. Utah, forget about it. You can have write-ups, be all these things, and they're like, whatever, we'll parole you. And look, I don't understand how this stuff works. Some of you watching this might say, yeah, I mean, he's in there literally fighting for his life. Apparently, he left his gang. They're trying to kill him. It's they're actually, people are not feeding him. And I was told, what I've seen watching different, documentaries or watching other YouTubers like 23andMe, that supposedly the person feeding the inmates who's on that duty is not supposed to know who's in the other cell. And it's blocked off. So they're not supposed to know who's in the other cell so that you'll prevent someone from ruining their food, or even in this case, not feeding them at all. But like everything else in prison, I'm sure that they have rules that we're supposed to believe. And then there's the reality of prison, which is they know who's in the cell. And man, just don't get locked up. And here's a picture of him before he went to prison in 2015. You can't recognize him. Now, something else that's different in Utah than anywhere else are the face tattoos. And some of these face tattoos, I'm going to quote the comments that I've seen. This is not coming from me. Anyone who, please, this is not me. But, some of the funnier comments are like, wow, looks like the guy fell asleep at a frat party and everyone took turns drawing on his face. And there are comments like that. It's quite, I just don't get, like, what is that on the cheek? I think there's only one thing that comes to mind, but I'm not going to say it. And anyways, look, he seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like he wants to. He's married. He has a child. He said he's done. I felt some emotion there. I'm rooting for him. I hope we don't see him again. I got to tell you, these parole board members, they have the patience of a saint. But it is scary. The bottom line is the idea, like, he's not rehabilitated. rehabilitated, like he's going to go back. It's a cycle. It's just a cycle that you have. And I don't know why it is that Utah has this dangerous gang problem. I know nothing about this. For those who are educated on the subject, email me. Maybe I'll interview you if you are willing to do that, or put it in the comment section. And with that, and thank you, Sir Richard, for recording this hearing, because I did not record this. I was not able to. And with that, I'll let you go.